von hinten, nur meine Haare.
Aber...
Film spetsial. 25 jah.
Men ned det må kan vi vel godt se billederne af.
À partir du chewing-gum, des papiers de chewing-gum jusqu'à les chaussures, les bas pour les femmes, ça n'existait pas.
Ça, on le connaît. Les Italiens connaissent aussi avec les valises pleines de bas.
Welcome to all. My name is Eva, and this tour is about Kgb, of course, but it is also about this hotel and history of this hotel and about Soviet times, because they are all connected in one story, which begins from 1964, when President of Finland, Urho Kaleva Kekkonen, visited Estonia. And he had a suggestion to open again shipping lines between Helsinki and Tallinn after many, many years, because after World War II we had no shipping connection here. Most of our tourists, they came from Finland, as today too. But in 60s, Finnish who traveled here, they needed visa, they needed permission, and then they had to explain what is the reason you are traveling to Soviet Union, and then they had to travel through Leningrad, Russian border, because we had no ferry lines then. So it was very important that these ferry lines were restored in 1965, because after that amount of guests raised fast, and we needed new hotel. And Viru Hotel, it was built by Finnish. And why Finnish? Official explanation then say that in Finland they have bad economical situation and our communist party will help young Finnish men, give them a job. Very good explanation, but it was not true, of course. Truth was that locals, they had no knowledge, no experience how to build a skyscraper, because Viru Hotel, it was the first skyscraper here. And there was only one tourism company in Soviet Union, which was Intourist. So this was Intourist Hotel, the only one, the only hotel where foreigners would stay. It was Intourist Hotel, and it was a luxury, it was a very modern hotel. But first, when Finnish started to build up this hotel, it was 1969, and 10 floors were built. Unfortunately, fire started, as we can see here. So we had fire before we even opened this hotel. But this picture about fire, it is quite rare, because in Soviet Union in 60s, there was not allowed to take pictures about accidents, catastrophes, about bad things, because life in Soviet Union, you know, it was only best, perfect and beautiful. Only good things happened to us. Officially, accidents never happened, so it was not topic in news. But good is that nobody got hurt, and Finnish, they continued work. Hotel was opened 5th of May 1972. At Viru Hotel, it was, yes, like a pearl of Intourist. It was in the top of 5 best hotels all over Soviet Union. Modern technical solutions, fine design, furniture from Finland, so it was somewhere in abroad. And very popular to have a job here too, because here came nearly 4,000 people, and in the beginning were hired 1,000 employees. It is a huge amount, because today we have 2,500 employees only, but everyone had a job then. And in this hotel we provided many services. Here worked tailor and shoemaker, even dentist we had here. Here was car service, music sound recording studio, many cafes, restaurants, bars and saunas. And last but not least, first cabaret in Soviet Union. It was opened here in 1972. So, yes, why we offered all these services? Of course, purpose was that foreigner would see that life is excellent in Soviet Union. And second reason, if foreigner stays more in the building, then it is easier to spy. Yeah, that's true. And we have some very special guests here. I would like to show you. We had here Valentina Tereshkova, first lady in space. She stayed here in 1979. We had here first astronaut, man on the moon, Neil Armstrong. He also once stayed here. Waiters are waiting for Shah of Iran. He visited us in 1972. And Elizabeth Taylor, Lennox Lewis, Jennifer Rush, many other stars we had here. And on these pictures we can see happy employees who worked in such modern hotel. It was privileged to have a job here. And the salary was a bit higher. They had a chance to travel. They traveled to Leningrad, to Kiev, and in Soviet Union, of course. But here we can see they are doing hard work in collective farm because sometimes all the schools and companies they had to do so self-voluntary work to go to pick up potatoes to collective farm. So Viru employees, we can see they are doing hard work. So everyone had to go for 2 weeks to pick up potatoes. I did it too, in school, of course, not here. And our master chef, legendary master chef Mr. Tuvike, some recipes are still in use from him. And cakes and pies, which were made here, they were like a local hard currency. It means we had lack of everything. Then stores were mostly empty. People were poor, but then people changed stuff between each other. I mean, our cakes they were very good. Local hard currency. You could change Viru cake to book, to shoes, to tickets to opera, to some music record, whatever you needed to yourself. Yeah, people changed stuff between each other. These cakes, they were like a local hard currency. So we continue upstairs.
Can I add?
Yeah.
Actually, normal people didn't have no access whatsoever. Even they they couldn't come even to the door.
Exactly. Yeah. And Viru Hotel, it was the only hotel where foreigners could stay. And yes, that's right, that locals, they had no access. Yeah.
And no money to buy anything.
Yeah.
See oli väga hea kreemiga vahet ja ma iga sünnipäevaks tädi ei suutnud välja võluda seda, ma olen 73 sündinud.
Meil on sama sünniaasta, ma
Ma kasvasin Mustamäel üles ja siis kui spesiaaltort toodi, siis ma olin nii õnnelik, kui saadi.
Ma olen sääsepeatusest, kust sa oled?
Mustamäe Sõpruse puiesteel, seal kus on esimesed valged majad, mis see on siis?
Ja mul tädi elas Sõpuka 219.
Ma pärast ütlen, tasu ja peatus.
Väga hea. And in Hotel Viru, we had also foreign currency bar and foreign currency store. So this bar we can see here, it was a tiny room on the second floor without even windows that nobody could see inside from streets what these foreigners are doing or drinking there because, foreign currency was in use only and locals could not own foreign currency then. If some dollars or Finnish marks were found in your pockets, it was criminal offense then. So only foreigners, they went there. Pictures of sauna we had and restaurants. Here is a grill bar on the first floor, which was Elizabeth Taylor's favorite place to go. A restaurant on 22nd floor with this lovely view. We had swimming pool in the sauna, some very modern guest rooms. So it was, luxury hotel. And there's some more I would like to show you. So we had car service in hotel and 10 black Volgas were in use there. Volga was nearly the best car in Soviet Union. Of course, Chaika, it was even better, but only communistical party bosses, they had a chance to use Chaikas. So we got Volgas. But the driver was Kgb officer, of course. He knew exactly where to go, what to tell to foreigner, what to show to foreigner. because mostly it was not allowed to take a walk alone to town. If some foreigners still did it, mostly was followed by KGB agent. So only certain tours were arranged to the groups and only with a guide. So guide went to harbor, picked up the group of Finnish tourists, mostly Finnish, yes, and after tour had to write a report to KGB. What did they ask from you? What did you answer to them? Did anybody ask something about politics? It was not allowed to talk about politics then. And reception hall and hairdresser, we had beauty salon here too. So employees who had contact to foreigners as hairdressers, tour guides, waiters, they had firm instructions how to talk to foreigner. Yeah, not to talk too much, no. And huge laundry we had here and kitchen. It was 10 times bigger than it is today because in hotel stayed nearly 1,000 guests plus employees who worked here. But we had, as I told, 1,000 employees, but places for guests, about 800. So we had more employees than guests, which is absurd, of course. But kitchen, it was huge then, and the products were collected all over Soviet Union. But this floor, it was closed. Then it was forbidden to come here. Also, these balconies, only KGB officers, they smoke there. But today, you are our privileged guests. I have a key, so I can open these doors for you. And please enjoy this view. Take your pictures, as many you wish. You can also take pictures inside our museum. I will not confiscate them, so we continue. Continue after a few minutes.
This is the only one, yes. And this was the only one Olympia was built for the Olympic Games. So this is really...
long time it was the only place where foreigners would stay, And in tourist, of course, they decided that all the foreigners, they should stay here because KGB had their devices here. But here I would like to introduce you one legendary man who worked in this hotel about 44 years. Thank you. So his name is N. Balmets, and he was our electrical engineer. And he told us a story from beginning of 80s that one day he got a signal that up here some device, some telephone, something is broke. It was automatic signal, so he had to come here to check what happened. And when he opened the door of the next room, we also later go there, then the gun was pointed on him. So he left quick, of course, but in a second he saw that in the room there are two officers sitting behind the table. They had headphones on, so they were listening, they were spying there. And we know that in hotel we had about 10 to 12 KGB officers. Nobody knows exactly how many, but we know that they were in the building 24/7. They changed the shifts, even slept here, until KGB left very suddenly in one night, spring 1991, because Soviet Union collapsed. After perestroika, wall in Berlin fell, and we had here singing revolution and big changes all over Eastern Europe. Soviet Union collapsed, KGB left. And some months later, Estonia restored independence, and it happened 20th August 1991. So they left before that. And up here is another document in Russian language. So we can call it as a black list, forbidden ladies. Officially, of course, there was no prostitution in Soviet Union, of course. But truth is, in this hotel worked some ladies, but they had to work to KGB to have access to come here. But these ladies, they did not work with them, so they had no access. Because on the front door stood officer, again, watched from the list, who are you, do you have access, are you with us or not? So.
And the KGB agents, they worked as employees in the house, or what was their cover? How did they cover their...
They cover was, they are technical staff and also fire team. They were in the fire team too.
Okay.
Yes,
In the fire team.
But some minutes later, I will explain you that employees also, mostly they knew. Yeah. But there was no other chance. If you wanted to have a job here, you had to accept it. You had some orders from them you had to do. So there was no other chance.
It was so difficult. You knew somebody who knew somebody who worked somewhere in the kitchen, and it was almost impossible to get in.
Yeah. So we can say it was public secret. Everyone knew, but there was no other chance. But now we go here to copy machine room. And in 80s we had here huge copy machine. It is not there anymore, but in 80s making copies, it was by permission only. And this door was closed to by permission of Kgb. And one page went to them too. They always needed to know what is it about you're printing there. So yeah. And it is written on a door that you need permission to enter here. We got one, please follow me. And here we put a hotel manager office, which originally located on the 3rd floor. But when we established this museum and copy machine, it was gone. So we put this office here to show to our guests. And the manager had a huge desk and always 2 telephones on it. So this first telephone, as you see, it is not some ordinary telephone, has no buttons even. Where can you call on this? So this was hotline, straight line only to one place, to Kgb main building, main office, which located on Pagani Street in the old town of Tallinn. Yes. And you may go there too. It is a museum opened there a few months, yeah. But this was a hotline to the main office, only there. We can see this building even from this window. If you take a look, you see Oleviste Church. So this high church, highest church we have. And next to it, very left hand of it, huge grey roof and white-yellow building. So this was Kgb office. So this was outlined there. And the next phone, also not so ordinary. It is quite heavy because it is filled by metal. Then no one else can put their microphone inside of it. Just buy a new, so safe line, secure line. And in Hotel Viru, on every floor, we have floor guards. Yeah, ladies who sat next to elevator every floor. And yeah, they of course saw everything. And then they wrote in a day book who's coming with who, when the person left, how long stayed out. Yeah, they collected the information to management, to Kgb too. But you know, this was the most desirable job, best job. And why? Can you guess? They got the best presents from foreigners. They had chance to do some forbidden business with them. So they got stockings, chewing gum, even plastic bags, sports shoes, some forbidden books maybe. So yeah, this was best job.
But she was Russian woman or Estonian?
Both Russians and Estonians too. Yeah.
So that wasn't frowned on by the KGB? Like, so
sorry?
other people would give them gifts and that wasn't frowned on by the KGB?
Yes, yeah.
But were they required to speak Finnish? That's my question, because that's for the older people. Because younger, we watched Finnish television and we learned, but for the older generation, was it required?
Good question. As I've heard, in some time they learn languages, but if a person was hired to work in this hotel, then the skills, they were not most important, of course. Most important was that you know somebody important inside here or in a party or somewhere. Yeah, skills, they were something not so important. Yeah, but they learned in some years the languages. And here is the front door of this hotel. So on reception floor, and both sides of the door, we can see men is watching. You had to show your identity card or your hotel guest card to have access to come here. So locals, they have no chance to come here. And that's why worked also milits in this hotel. Milits as police today, so they also kept an eye on everything, that all kinds of so-said businessmen, suspicious businessmen and Russian mafia, prostitutes would not have a chance to get in to take a contact to foreigners. So everything was under control. And we had books in reception, in the restaurant too. Book of suggestions and complainings. So, and guests wrote in, thank you, food was delicious, thank you, service was excellent, thank you, room was very comfortable and more. So I guess nobody dared to complain, of course. Yes. Life was beautiful and excellent only. And in 70s, beginning of 80s, we had first men in Soviet Union, Leonid Ilyich Brezhnev. And Brezhnev died 1982, then Obituary was published in the local paper. It is in Estonian language, The Voice of a Youth. Yes, but after Brezhnev came next first man of Soviet Union, Yuri Andropov, who died only 2 years later, 84. Again, Obituary was published. But if we take a closer look, then these texts are nearly the same. Nearly the copy-paste, because first, this journalist needed, again, permission, so you can publish it. It had to be politically correct. So easiest and safest way was to put nearly the same text, just new dates, new picture, it goes again, nobody reads this stuff. Anyway, it was just propaganda, yes. So people read from the second page about Olympics 84 in Sarajevo and some other events in town.
Great morning, schools were closed, candles and the pictures were put up. And,
everybody would cry, yes. And in this hotel we had also some professions which we cannot even remember anymore. The other side of the room there is a huge book of honor, and best employees are mentioned there as a lady Helga, for instance. Helga worked in kitchen as a bread slicer, so she sliced the bread by hand all day long, and she was best in it. So we had all kinds of competitions all the time, who works more and best. So now you may have a look, take a look around, take pictures if you wish. If anybody wish, may even sit here for a second, pick up this red phone and make one picture for memory. And then we continue after a few minutes in the next room outside. We go out and then turn left. So. But when it was a copy machine room, then of course these windows, they were covered.
we have this in our kitchen. We have this in our kitchen.
It was top secret.
Like kind of a room with a lot of chocolate, you know, and like
Everything, they have their own business. Cutlery, tickets, opener, bottle openers. And those are the first color TVs.
what color is it?
Yes, because you see, this tells you that it's a color. Yeah. Non mer. Ge det mikrofonen för det
По-русски говорить, может вам помочь?
Ага, ой. See on kõik, jah. See on kõik. On terve.
Здесь ничего
Ma
нет.
saan alt ka või? Ei ole.
Me läheme siia nüüd. So we go to the room where two electrical engineers try to get in, and gun was pointed on him. But yeah, something is written here on a door. In Estonian language, siin ei ole midagi. In Russian language, здесь ничего нет. In English, it is nothing here. Yeah. So we have many tags and texts all over. We put them when we established this museum 2011 to show in what kind of a society we lived in. We had many orders, many tags all over, many texts. But don't worry, I'll go first. Watch your step, yeah?
Yeah, we didn't have cassette.
So this was Kgb radio transmission room, and they left so suddenly in one night, and they took with them everything they could. Some technical equipment from wall are taken off, and some documents from table, some smaller equipment too. But they could not take this huge radio transmission machine, so they destroyed it. Destroyed also telephone, that nobody could use them anymore. And even the ashtray is very safe. As they left. Yes, and they smoked Pelamor Canal. Yeah, Pelamor Canal. So, and when the hotel was complete, but before it was opened to guests, before that came Kgb, Finnish people, they left back home, but then came Kgb and closed this building for 2 weeks. And then they put their cables, wires and microphones wherever they decided. So Finnish, they never knew about it. And we know that Kgb bought about 60 rooms in this hotel, but we had over 500 guest rooms. So they did not spy in every room, but in certain rooms, which located on every floor, few rooms next to elevator again. And they were put, so said, suspicious, dangerous foreigners. As a journalists from abroad, politicians, engineers, businessmen from abroad, all kinds of officers from abroad, and also foreign Estonians, those who fled World War II to free world. Because thousands of Estonians escaped 1943-44. And if they later came back here to visit their relatives, if they stayed in this hotel, they were under surveillance by Kgb. So, and certain rooms, Kgb blocked. And they worked so that here we have these rooms. And if here stayed suspicious, dangerous foreigner, then the next was used by Kgb. Again guest, again Kgb. So they were next to you, always behind your wall. And microphones were put into electrical system, into lamp. Certainly microphones were put into telephone. And they might be also in furniture, in almost everywhere, in certain rooms. But also they had microphones in public rooms, as a restaurant, as a lobby, even in hotel sauna they had microphones. And there is one joke that Viru hotel, it is built by micro-concrete, something material, 50% microphones, 50 concrete. And you know, they had chance to take a look to the next room too, if they decided so. They had camera, so there was a tiny hole hidden in somewhere in the wall, might be in a wall lamp or a frame of painting or furniture somewhere. So this camera went through it, yeah, and they saw very well what is happening in the next room, and then they took pictures. Yeah, very uncomfortable, of course, for guests. and in hotel restaurant, when the waiter came to work, then the first got some marked tables. It means there are suspicious guests sitting today, and then waiter served a bread on a plate like this, because bread plate had a double bottom, and inside of the bottom there was a tiny wireless microphone. Yeah. So guests had bread plus microphone. Here you go. Yeah, this is not the original bought one. There's no left then. Yeah, that's pity. But some colleagues here told me who worked then in the kitchen that some of them knew about these plates, but some did not. And if some who did not know, in accident put this plate into this washing machine, then big panic started in the kitchen. Yeah, they were all seeking it. They were in a panic. It was broke off the machine, so you could not put in there. So we can say that employees, they mostly knew about spying. They had even exact orders what to do, how to react, who is a dangerous guest and who is an ordinary tourist. And these tiny microphones needed support by extra antennas, transmissions, and these kinds of antennas were arranged to the ceiling of a restaurant or under the table. So the signal first came to here and then ran through the cable to the radio room, which located on the second floor behind Foreign Currency Bar. There was also a tiny Kgb Radio Room, which was more about this hotel, because this room up here, it was even bigger, it was even more important. It was a strategical spy base between Moscow and northern countries as Finland, as Sweden. So yeah, we know from here they took contact to Russian spies who worked in Finland, in Sweden. For instance, 1975, there was an international, very important meeting in Helsinki, which is capital of Finland, which is 80 kilometers over the sea, not far from here. And Brezhnev participated there too, so it was a very important meeting. So from here, they had radio contact to Helsinki, to the meeting. They collected all the information about it, and then they sent it to Moscow. So
they had antennas in Olevisti church as well.
Exactly, yes. They had powerful antenna on the roof of this hotel. Also, yeah, they used antenna which was top of St. Olavisti church. Yeah, it was not only about this hotel, even bigger. And here we can see uniform of a KGB. But in hotel they used mostly civil suits. They wanted to be as ordinary people. But yes, employees mostly knew them, but never asked, of course, anything. People never asked questions then. And if some new wanted to have a job in this hotel, then they checked all your background. Are you loyal to Communist Party? Do you have relatives abroad? If you had, then it was not possible to have a job here. Because foreign Estonians, they were threat to Soviet Union. Because why? Because they have seen a normal life in open free world. That's why, and they can spread capitalistic issues on locals. But if everything was in the right way, you had no relatives abroad, you were loyal to Communist Party, then maybe you were hired to work here, and then you got stamp on your documents. Here we can see it in Russian language, Godian. We can accept it. Yeah, we can translate it. Accepted, approved. Approved, all your background is checked, so they know more about you than you do. Welcome to work. And you know, after they tested you, they tested employees because they needed to be sure that you are loyal and honest person and you follow orders. So this person was left in the room somewhere, on a bed, on a table of restaurant, on the floor somewhere. But there was a order to employees: if you ever find something in this hotel, you cannot even open it. Go give it back to manager straight away. But if some new still was too curious and naive and opened the wallet, it was a big mistake, of course, because at the same second, these car bombs exploded and sprayed all over person's face, hair, and hands. Red color. These are color bombs. Yeah, it was not possible to wash it away. Few days. Everyone saw that this person too curious. Not trustable maybe. So some of them lost their job, and some of them had to work to KGB as informators. So they tested.
How many? That's exactly the question. Of 25, how many people? That's a difficult question. How many people were hired as informators out of the percentage, out of the rest of 975 people?
I'm sorry, I don't have such information.
Because that must be quite wide.
Yeah, there must. We can guess that all the departments had some few persons. We can guess.
You couldn't trust. You couldn't trust the person next to you working.
You couldn't trust your colleague. Never knew. You never knew who is with them. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And why we have these gas masks here? Because it was also Cold War years then, and all the schools and companies, they had to train how to react when war begins. And this KGB man, who officially works in a fire team and in technical team, they organized these trainings in this hotel. So behind you there was one photo left down. They have masks on and running to basement, some safe place. Did you train it at school? I did.
Yes,
I
we did it.
too.
I went to the Gustavado for the first school, and we had it those in a special room, and we had a location how to evacuate, and we need to learn how to put the hands, and there's a school children to put it quickly on and run.
Yeah, I did it too. And outside, next to our hotel, there is a lovely statue. You can see it right down. There is a picture of it. Statue has a lovely name, Mermaid. But people gave also nickname on it, which is Big Ear, because it is like a ear, if you have a look. And you know, it was public secret, so that this hotel is one big ear. They are listening here, yeah. So yeah, so one Finnish journalist told us his own memories from Soviet years. He stayed here, and he stayed a few times in 80s. And he came again, third time he got the same certain room. Of course he understood that it's one of these rooms. But he got sense of humor, and he was a brave person. And even he was alone, but when he stepped in his hotel room, he said by loud voice, "I feel so thirsty today, do we have something to drink in this room?" And then he counted minutes, and after 4 minutes there was knocking on his hotel door. "Sir, did you order drinks? Your drinks arrived. Here you go." So this is what we call best service, yeah. Yeah, we have many stories. Yeah, our friends and previous guests told us their stories. They are unbelievable. Many stories like this. Some of them even pick up this phone in the room, and then they hit hard here because they knew they are sitting here somewhere, their phones on. And foreign Estonians also knew that better not to talk too much in the room between each other. Certainly there are some microphones in the lamp, in a telephone, so they wrote on a paper.
But now the hotel is cleaning?
Yeah. This is one of the most popular questions. Yeah, hotel is clean now. It is renovated 2 times after they left. If there are some cables or something, they are not functioning, of course, anymore.
But who renovated?
Yes, yes, but yeah, but you know, today we have cameras on the streets everywhere. They know what
More or less
what
the same.
page you are visiting by your iPhone. Everything.
They can listen via
They
your
can
phone.
listen. Yes. Anyway, it is so massive today. But here we have some equipment. They used as boxed coughlinks and some devices. And then I will open the next balcony for you. Yes.